I'm Paul Levinson, and welcome to Light On, Light Through, episode 380, my review of Three Body Problem, Season 1. Well, I haven't read the novel by Lou Serchin and its sequels, and I didn't read much about the series because I wanted to be surprised. And I'd say the first season of Three Body Problem was superb. It was a powerful mix of thought provoking, stunning action and heartbreaking human stories, all in support of a story of a life threatening interstellar intelligent species, the San-T, who have been in contact with our planet for more than 50 years and are now approaching us, some 400 years away from arriving, and that may mean the end of our species. And there was a wise and funny joke about Einstein and God, which I hadn't heard before. So all of that was superb. But almost all of that happened in the last few episodes and the beginning and middle of the 8-episode first season was bogged down, I thought, with a computer game the interstellar beings are doling out to various people on Earth for various reasons. Now, I've always enjoyed science fiction about computer games interacting with reality, beginning with Orson Scott Card's path-breaking and brainy Ender's Game. But I thought its situation in Three Body Problem was needlessly repetitive. The heart of Three Body was closer to Arthur C. Clarke's Childhood's End and Damon Knight's To Serve Man, and you can find that short story in any collection, usually, of Damon Knight's stories. And the first season of the Three Body television series, whatever may have been done in the novel, well, I thought that season should have spent more time on those elements that we find in Childhood's End and To Serve Man. Also, I'll say the slow start of Three Body Problem, the series, is reminiscent of another iconic novel in science fiction. That's Frank Herbert's Dune. That also took a long time to get going. I always have advised people over the years, don't put it away after the first 50, 100, 150 pages because you're bored or you just can't take the slow pace of it, because once you get over that hump, the novel is fabulous. And of course, it led not just to a trilogy, but a whole series, exceeded in excellence only by Isaac Asimov's Foundation novels, in my opinion. And I'm not going to talk here about the Foundation TV series because you'll find lots of other episodes of Light On, Light Through in which I talk about it, as well as discussions I've had with Cora Boulay and Joel McKinnon, who has a great podcast himself called The Selden Crisis. But let's just say that there was some disagreement among the three of us about how well the television series on Apple TV Plus has brought Asimov's Foundation series to life. But let's get back to Three Body Problem. And speaking of hearts and brains, biology was actually far more the star of the first season than was the space travel. And this puts Three Body Problem in a league with Andrew Niccol's debut motion picture Gattaca, which was superb. And if I'm making Three Bodies sound derivative, well, that's because it is. But that's okay, because the first season puts all of these perennial elements that we find in science fiction, it puts them all together in a very original, compelling way. You know, it's not every day you see a science fiction series starting in Mao's China and its emphasis on ideology over truth, which I'm sorry to say is a problem unfortunately arising right now in the United States and other parts of the world off the fiction screen and for real. But it's not every day you see a series on television that starts in Mao's China in the 1960s and moves into a life and death James Bondian present in which we're fighting for the survival of the very future of our species. In fact, I don't recall seeing anything quite like that at all, and I'm eagerly awaiting the second season of Three Body Problem and more. The dialogue, by the way, was excellent, as was the acting. Nearly everyone was new to me, other than Liam Cunningham from Game of Thrones, and it was good to see him on the screen again. Kudos to David Benioff, D.B. Weiss, and Alexander Wu for creating the series, and kudos to me for not having to warn you about spoilers in this review, because there really weren't any, were there?
The Light on Light Through podcast.
And I hope you enjoyed that review of the first season of Three Body Problem. I'll certainly be back here with a review of the second season whenever that's up. And I'll certainly be back here next Tuesday with another episode of the Light on Light Through podcast. In the meantime, stay safe, stay sound, and keep on doing whatever you can to help the brave people of Ukraine fight off the Russian invaders that are still attacking their country.
The Light on Light Through podcast.
Athens, 2042 AD. She ripped the paper in half, then ripped the halves, then ripped what was left again into bits and pieces of history that could have been. Sierra Waters had read once that, years ago, it was thought that men made love for the thrill, while women made love for the sense of connection it gave them.
Curled Up with a Good Book says, Sierra Waters is sexy as hell. You can find out more about The Plot to Save Socrates by Paul Levinson at theplot2save.com.
Your brilliant story, it's real life.
Paul Levinson Silk Code, about an ancient biotech war raging on in secret for centuries.